Welcome back to another episode of Mondays with Matthew. I hope you had a nice weekend. I want to talk a little bit today about emotions. I had some clients that are moving here to Houston from Canada, and they asked me the question, how do you deal with all the emotions of all your clients? And I thought, that's a really interesting question. And in fact, I think that somebody that can help navigate through the emotional side of buying a home actually makes you a good realtor or a good broker. I think that some people might know contracts and they might know the process really, really well, but if you're not in tune with your own emotions and your own person and your own personality, and then you're not in tune with your clients' feelings, because you ride ups and downs in buying a home and even selling a home, and there's a lot of things that can go in different directions during a transaction, and depending on that person's style, their personality, how they feel their emotions, how they think through their emotions. Maybe some people go from a 4 to a 7, and some people go from a 1 to a 10 on that emotional level, and you've got to be able to wear that or help them navigate through what they're going through. But if you're not in tune with your own emotions and then theirs, how are you going to help them get through it? And so I think that's like the missing component of what makes somebody really, really good versus somebody that knows their stuff, but they're just not quite they're not able to really engage with their clients and feel what their clients are feeling, and to help them make the best decisions, but also just help them get through the process without, maybe if you have someone who does go from a 1 to a 10, where they're like really down and then really, really high, you've got to be able to know how to give that person the news so that they don't drop to a 1 and then just want to just forget the whole thing. I'm not buying a house. So you really need to know these things to be great at what you do. But kind of going back to my client's question, they were like, how do you deal with that? Sometimes it is challenging. 3 or 4 deals could take a turn for the worse at the same time. And it does wear on you. But I think to be really good at what you do, you've got to be able to take it, sit down, focus, think about how to turn that around, and then be able to go back to that situation from a place of thought and a place of how is this going to best benefit my clients, because they're the priority, they're the number one. You have to take yourself out of it. When I first got in the business, the first 2 years, you're up and down and up and down and up and down, and some of it is like, well, you need a deal to close so that you can feed your family, but you have to take that out of it, because that's the least important part of the whole entire transaction. And I think it takes 2 or 3 years to get used to that, and to really be able to take yourself out of it, not necessarily take your emotions out of it, because I think you need to feel what they're feeling to be able to really gauge to be able to help them make the right decisions. And they're looking to you for advice. They're looking to you for not always just factual advice, but sometimes emotional advice. And you've got to be able to really do those kinds of things. And that can make real estate challenging and difficult. Not to say other industries don't have the same kind of component, but whenever there's a lot of people involved and a lot of emotions involved, you got to be able to balance those, and you got to be able to balance your own emotions. And so as a good real estate agent, I think you need to feel your client's emotions, but you also need to be able to distance yourself so far enough away from them to be able to really help them get through the process and get through the transaction without being so involved that when they're done with it, they're just completely drained and completely dead. You want them to feel like the transaction was smooth and easy. And so in order to do that, sometimes you have to manage those emotions, or help manage those emotions. You can't control what other people think or do. but you can help them through that as long as you're really in tune with those things. So that's kind of what I would say to those clients, or that's kind of what I did say to them. You know, sometimes it is challenging, but also after you've been doing it for 8 years, you really get a sense of who you are and how you're going to help someone else navigate through sometimes a potentially difficult situation, or just you know, a situation where they really want the house so bad and they may not get it. So if you're hunting for someone to help you, I would say this is another thing that a lot of times we leave off the table. But you need somebody who's really in tune with emotions and can help you weather that emotional roller coaster that sometimes buying or selling a home is. It's not all data and facts and math. So I hope you have a fantastic week. Thank you for watching. Take care.